Okay, do we have the new action anime ready to send out? You mean the one with crazy animation and no story? What else would I be referring to? It's right here, sir. It's called Ninja Kamui. Before we send this out, let's make sure the general criteria has been checked. OP main character, check. Banger metal intro, check. Cutting edge animation, check. Insane action, check. Zero plot, check. Looks like everything's in order. Let's ship this one out. Ninja Kamui is a new blood-pumping high-octane series about an ex-ninja on the path of revenge against his former clan. Set in America, this story combines the supernatural with the technological. Ancient principles such as the path of righteousness and the code of honor are battered and stripped down into a modern reiteration of corruption, greed, and power. The main hero of Ninja Kamui is Higun, the man who broke his code for love. Principles and morality are thrown out of the window as the old ways meet with the new, tormenting every character in this show, each of whom share a dramatic past of mystery and terror. Sounds cool, right? So why am I struggling to care at the end of each episode? Rather than leaving me on a cliffhanger, why don't you put the time to add depth and empathy in each character without it feeling cliched? Now I know what you're thinking. Why do I need to be so critical of an anime that is clearly just about the action? No need to overthink this, right? Just enjoy the ride. It's fun, harmless, it's not about the plot. Just soak in the amazing choreography and stylish action. You see, I can't really agree with this statement because this doesn't stand out as a great action series. And this is simply because the plot is weak. The best action requires a great plot. You want the character to achieve a goal, and that goal needs to feel impossible. For my personal taste, if you solely focus on the action, then the story is not memorable enough. It doesn't hurt to focus on the drama, the human side which makes the action far more engaging and emotional. You want to be invested in what's going on. Exploring different genres such as romance also enhances the experience. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is visually elegant and theatrical through its action sequences. And as mesmerizing as it is to witness these fluent movements, there is actually more to the action than you would believe. It underlies themes of love, heartbreak, betrayal. Each action sequence is a dance of love, revealing the characters' true feelings through their distinct movements. The Matrix is a mind-bending blend of martial arts, science fiction, and cyberpunk that revolutionized action filmmaking with its innovative visual effects, intricate fight choreography, but also made you think deeply about the meaning of humanity, reality, and our existence. You care about the characters. In fact, one of the best action anime of all time is Attack on Titan. What makes it such a great show isn't just the action, it's the characters, the emotional weight, the themes of war and politics come into play. And when the action comes into gear, you suddenly find yourself locked in with 100% investment. No, this needs to be reported. Whoever made this show enjoys violence a bit too much, and may actually need help, a lot of help. I wonder why. Is it because this show is created by Japanese people? No, it couldn't. Who would have thought an American prefers sake over whiskey, and it had to be a Japanese drink specifically? Wait a minute, he's referring to the main character. This detective's mind is fixated on the man who is Japanese. You know what, I'd like to retract my previous statement. This is actually a really creative metaphor. The thing about Ninja Kamui that annoys me is that it has all the right ingredients to be great. You've got the tragic backstory of Higun, which is all delivered to you in the first episode. That is the reason I should want Higun to succeed on his revenge journey. Even at the end, he learns something new and takes on a responsibility that is satisfying for a conclusion. However, I couldn't bring myself to care at any point. We see his son and wife both die. I'm not apathetic in situations like this. It's messed up and I should be shocked. But I wasn't. You could tell something bad was going to happen. It was set up as an all too good to be real type of scenario. The moment they died, it wasn't delivered with that gut-punching feeling I should have experienced. I was anticipating it, but at the same time we only got to know these characters for about half an episode before their demise. In Demon Slayer, we saw the same scenario occur in which Tanjiro's whole family is killed after the first 10 minutes of the show. It's messed up, but the emotional weight doesn't feel strong because the build-up was so sudden. I think telling a revenge story like Ninja Kamui is difficult to construct. It's been done so many times, and there are only so many ways you can tell the story before it becomes trite and expired. I believe Ninja Kamui would have benefited by having the story told from a non-chronological order right from the start. Although it did start to jump back and forth from past to present towards the end, I would feel a lot more invested if they showed the death of Higon's wife and son in the middle of the series, at around say episode 5 or 6. This way you would have enough time to develop Higon's character, get to know the relationship between Higon's wife and son, make the son more of a character with personality who is basically an NPC. It also adds a sense of mystery and intrigue about Higon's character. Who is he and why is he so hell-bent on revenge? What turned him into this cold, nonchalant human being? Where the show actually thrived was through the backstories. I know for a lot of people it can be the most frustrating part of the show. It slows down the progress and excitement, but for me it adds depth and investment. Even though they explored Higon and Mari's relationship during their time in the ninja clan, it didn't go further into their background regarding where they came from and what their drive was before falling in love. For that reason, these two characters failed to have an impact on me the way Zai and Asuka did. We got to know about Zai's harsh upbringing and Asuka's traumatic past. You felt sorry for them. They had been through so much torment and conflict. I kind of wish Zai was more of a primary character in the show. He walked the line of good and evil in this show, which made him really interesting. You could feel the strong bond he shared with Higon. I thought the American characters Mike and Jason were more engaging characters. There was a balance of humor and tragedy evoked in these two characters that really complemented the ambition of the series. They wanted to break barriers and cross cultures to present the problems that two different nations have are actually quite similar. But then the show takes a stumble, because the way they convey the information is so dry and dull. I lose interest in the way the lines are being delivered. It's exposition of the highest order. There's so much information about the technology and the history of Auser. This aspect of the show was the most boring when it was supposed to be the most important. It was a message about billionaires and the dangerous power they harness. The CEO is a satirical parody of these billionaires, but he just feels out of place, in a different story to the rest. He's so pathetic, which I guess is what they're going for, but I never felt threatened by him, when really the power that these billionaires and political leaders have, as stupid and self-righteous as they are, they ultimately possess a frightening amount of power, and that feeling of fear was never conveyed in the slightest through the CEO. Look, the action is amazing. It's one of the most impressive action series I've seen. Their shots are unique and creative. I love the POV and smooth one-take shots. The variety of colour and techniques to create a visual feast of blood and gore was the highlight of the show. But if I was going to watch cool fights, then I would just go on YouTube and watch a compilation of the greatest action scenes of all time. When I'm watching a show, I'm not just weighing all in on the action. There's a dramatic aspect that can never be thrown as a side dish to the action. It needs to be equally integral. The drama is the emotional core and heart of the story, which keeps you engaged from episode 1 to the finale. It makes the action more compelling and the stakes feel far more tense. I will say that the music and soundtrack in Ninja Kamui is quite memorable and added that excitement to the action. And that is once again what made things very frustrating. It had all of these great elements, but in the end the story is the most important aspect. Everything felt too generic. It honestly could have been 6 episodes long. There was a lot that could have been cut down. The villains Higon faced were useless. There was that weird sex fiend he faced and that self-loving Big D. We knew they would die because Higon was destined to fight the big bad, the head of the ninja clan. And by the way, even though the boss ninja possessed that villain aura about him, he wasn't very well developed to at least show his side of the story. In the end, his outcome was inevitable, and I found myself caring little about the fight between Higon and the boss ninja, and more about the fate of Zai. Mike and Zai were the only two characters I wanted to live by the end. While Ninja Kamui presents itself as a high-octane action series with cutting-edge animation and stylish choreography, it ultimately falls short due to its lack of depth in storytelling and character development. The series suffers from a weak plot that fails to engage viewers beyond the spectacle of its action sequences. Despite the potential for a compelling revenge narrative centered around protagonist Higon, the show fails to evoke genuine emotional investment in his journey. The deaths of his wife and son, pivotal moments meant to drive his quest for vengeance, lack the impact they should have due to the rushed character development and predictable storytelling. The supporting characters like Zai and Asuka, with their fleshed out backstories and compelling personalities, overshadow Higon and highlight missed opportunities for meaningful exploration of the main protagonist's motivations and background. Ultimately, Ninja Kamui falls short of its potential due to its reliance on generic tropes, lack of character depth, and missed opportunities for meaningful storytelling. While it does boast impressive action sequences and a memorable soundtrack, these elements alone are not enough to elevate the series above its shortcomings.